May 1st, 1915, a woman by the name of Margaret Grier aboard the RMS Lusitania, the second fastest ship ever built. Little did this woman know she would have one of the most incredible, if not the most incredible survival story in maritime history. This is the story on how her ordinary life became one of the most extraordinary survival stories ever told.
America's newest and biggest liner, the United States, leaves Newport News, Virginia, for a trial run in the Atlantic. The designers expect the $70 million superliner will sail faster than any commercial vessel ever built. The United States, now under her own car for the first time, is to undergo 2 days of tests. She won't enter the Atlantic run until July. 990 feet from stem to stern, she weighs in at 52,000 tons, 30,000 less than the Queen Elizabeth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SS United States channel, where we talk about the SS United States and other ships. And today I have an interesting topic for us. Today we are going to be talking about a survivor of the Lusitania. Now, I actually got this video idea from a YouTuber called Historic Travels. His channel is in the link in the description if you want to check him out. But he had actually done a short on this topic because it's actually a very short topic. And I actually found I had to go through the entire passenger list of the Lusitania, which took me forever. But I finally found the passenger that he was talking about. And we're going to be talking about this passenger today. I don't usually talk about ships because, my portfolio is ships from, 1930s to, 1960s or 70s. But I still do ships from the 1900s, like Mauritania and Lusitania and Aquitania and Imperator. Imperator's coming, by the way. But Jasper... Sorry, guys, Jasper's looking like my camera stand, so it's shaking. But, so a lot of stuff actually happened since it happened. I've got a couple new models. I got a model of the Normandy. If you guys do not know, the Normandy is actually one of my favorite ships. And I have a model of it right here. And then I have another model of the Queen Elizabeth right here. Another one of my favorite ships, So, yeah. Actually, it's better on this side. But, yeah. I got that. So, I got my section of the Queen Mary over here. And I have my section of the SS United States over here. Another ship, really. My next model is probably going to be the SS America if I can find one. It's actually been really hard to find the SS America. But, yeah. Anyway, let's get that out of the way. But, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this video. So, this passenger was a woman named Margaret Grier, who was born in 1888. Sorry about that. But, she had a pretty typical childhood, being raised. But, she actually, her real name was Margaret Inglis Claims, I'm pretty sure. I'll have her full name right there because because she's a passenger, I really just found out about her, so I'm still kind of memorizing her name, but it's Margaret Inglis Claims. But she'd mostly be she'd be famously known as Margaret Grier. She got the Grier from her husband Herbert Grier, who was a Englishman who was part of the Church of England and was a chaplain. But they had actually gotten married a month before the sinking of the Lusitania, and they were actually were in Canada. Now, when this happened, they were on a trip to Liverpool. Now, at this time, remember, guys, World War I was still going on in Europe. Ships were being sunk in the English Channel by German U-boats, and it really was a very dangerous time to travel in both World War I and World War II on ships. But at this time, Lusitania was going to Liverpool from New York, and I think it was actually going to be one of its last voyages before it was going to be laid up until the war was over. But the Germans had issued out a warning, and Herbert and Margaret did actually think about canceling it, but at this time, a lot of people didn't think that the Germans were actually going to do anything. I mean, it's a passenger ship full of passengers. But because of it, they were just married a month prior. I think it was like April 20th they got married, and the Lusitania they boarded the Lusitania on May 1st. So this was kind of like a honeymoon / vacation of them. So at this time, they had boarded the Lusitania on May 1st, 1915. Now, the Lusitania was going to be on a 7-day voyage, even though it was the second the second fastest ship in the world, practically. Just behind its sister, the Mauritania. But they were going to be on a 7-day voyage from New York to Liverpool. Now, once they boarded the ship, they kind of got settled, and it was mostly uneventful until the final parts of the sinking, really. Margaret had rarely seen Herbert because Herbert was mostly in the first class smoking room, playing cards and just being what every average 1900s Englishman was doing. Straight up. You can literally see this in Titanic. You literally see this. They said, going to go to the smoking room, we're going to play some cards and talk about politics. That's literally all they did back then, I'm telling you. On these ships, that's all they did until like ships like in the 60s started coming out with TVs and stuff. But anyway, getting a little off the topic. But at this time, they really didn't see each other because Herbert was mostly in the first class smoking room, and that they only really saw each other at night when they both went back to the cabins. Now, I believe they are first class. They're not third class, I know that, and I don't think they're second class, but I'm pretty sure they're first class. But just to keep that in mind. But anyway, nothing happened until May 7th, 1915 at 8 o'clock, right? Was it 8? It was pretty... 8 o'clock? Yeah. A German U-boat U-20, was in the English Channel had gone up between Ireland and the mainland of Great Britain, and spotted a ship, a huge passenger liner, Lusitania, steaming by before the crew on the U-20 decided to fire one torpedo at the Lusitania, and immediately the crew on the Lusitania went into panic, began trying to avoid it, and I'm pretty sure they did avoid the first one, but then U-boat U-20 did launch another one, which did hit Lusitania on the starboard side. Now, the Lusitania, where it hit, was pretty just front. It was in front of the first funnel and like aft of the bow, so it was in a a cargo area. Now, when this happened, Margaret was having like a tea kinda, and I'm pretty sure breakfast actually, in the dining room of Lusitania. Before, apparently, according to this is something she stated later in an interview, that the Lusitania began listing so bad that plates and stuff like forks were flying off the tables, like sliding off the tables, and that's when she knew something was wrong. The vibration of when the Lusitania had been hit by the torpedo, along with the Lusitania listing, she just knew that it was a torpedo that struck. Now, when this happened, a few minutes, maybe not even a few minutes, maybe like 1-2 minutes after the Lusitania was hit by a torpedo, the power immediately went out, and it was pitch black on the Lusitania. Now, when this happened, Margaret apparently heard screaming, and she had been trying to get her way up to the boat deck before reuniting with her husband, Herbert, who they both began making their way up to the lifeboat deck. Now, when this happened, apparently two men, I'm pretty sure one was Donald, began shouting, trying to get everyone to calm down because everyone knew what was happening. The Lusitania was sinking, and it was sinking fast. So they kind of yelled to calm everyone down so they can get everyone up the stairs to the Lusitania's deck in like an orderly fashion, which did work, but Margaret and Herbert really didn't believe that nothing was happening. They knew that the Lusitania was in trouble and really did anything they could to get up there. Once they got up there, Herbert escorted his wife and 3 other women, along with the baby, to a Lusitania's lifeboat. Hugged her, kissed her goodbye, and everything would be fine. He then made his way back to another lifeboat where it would begin to row away. Now, in this time, and probably in the mind of Herbert, everything was fine. His wife was on a lifeboat, he was on a lifeboat, they were making their way from Lusitania. But, and you may think this is where the story ends, but no. Nope. Unfortunately, to Herbert, when Margaret had gotten to the lifeboat, she looked up at the funnels, which were beginning, like the bow was going underwater. And she thought that the funnels were because of the list, she thought the funnels were going to fall on her. Kind of like, this is the lifeboat and this is the funnels. She thought that was going to happen. Now, this didn't happen until the boat deck went under. Really. But, so she had actually climbed off. And once she got on deck, like a couple minutes later, water began getting to the top deck, and actually swept her off the boat. Now she began swimming away towards the lifeboats in the water before one of the funnels, I think it was the second funnel, went under, dragging another man and her, or another man first, another man who got shot out, but then she got dragged in. And am I saying this right? Or no, I think they both got dragged in at the same time. I'm pretty sure they both got dragged in at the same time. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry, guys. But either he got dragged into another funnel, and then she got dragged into the second one. Jasper, wait. Or she got dragged into the second funnel, but she did get dragged into the second funnel. I know that. But at this time, Margaret began praying that everyone was fine, and just thought it was over. Until the Lusitania had actually, I'm pretty sure it's when it hit the bottom, but the Lusitania was 240 meters long, I remember, and the water was not 240 meters long. It was too long, meaning that when the Lusitania hit the bottom, the stern was still in the air, so it couldn't move. So when it hit the bottom, I don't know what happened there, but when the stern hit the bottom, a boiler exploded. Now, boilers explode when there's an extreme amount of pressure that's not been released in a boiler, like Titanic when we saw the boiler, the steam venting from the funnels. That's when they're trying to get rid of the steam so the boilers don't explode. Well, they didn't have time to do this on the Lusitania because the Lusitania, unlike Titanic, sank in only 18 minutes, where Titanic is sunk in 2 hours and 30 minutes. Pretty big difference. Now, when this happened, when the boiler exploded, a huge amount of water rushed through the funnels and launched Margaret out of the funnel into the water near a lifeboat and was saved. Miraculously, she was saved. Now, when they finally got saved by another ship that had come by, hearing the Lusitania's warning signal, Herbert was reportedly actually seen crying and sobbing about it because apparently he thought she died. But eventually he saw a woman who just looked just like his wife, walked up to her, and it was Margaret, and they had reunited. Wow, just a crazy survival story, guys. And after this, they were good. They made it to England, and for that, they had rest of their lives. Margaret had lived all the way to 1975, being in many interviews, and her husband had died, I believe, in 1955. So, yeah, after that, they had a long life, pretty much. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Crazy story, guys. Crazy story. It's really surprising that not many people have talked about this topic. To my knowledge, I'm the only person that I know who's talked about this topic in a long form. Like Historic Travels, like I said, he did it in a short, like a 30-second short, because of how little information there really is about Margaret. But notice, he made it into a short. I made it into a 13-minute video. How? That's just the things, how topics go. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, hit the bell, so you never miss another video. Like the video. Me and Jasper will see you next time, because Jasper wants to go outside. I'll see you next time. Bye.